Hey guys, Brewery 602 beer reviews here at Brewery 602 on Instagram. My name is Marcus, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do a little tutorial on the way I taste and judge a beer. Now, I did just come back from doing a BJCP judging. Now, I am not BJCP certified yet, but have been lucky enough to be invited to actually judge on panels for competitions. I've done it several times now, and I'm lucky enough to sit with national judges, and they have, being that I'm not certified, you do have to sit with a national judge plus someone highly ranked and be able to compare and share your notes. Now, the judging I've been doing has been for have been for homebrew competitions, and this is the beer I brewed. This is my Hefeweizen. Now, if you look back on my videos, I'll show you exactly how I brewed it. So please do go back and watch the video showing how I brewed this beer. This is it. So if you guys watch that video, this is the product. And as you can see, the head's been, dissipating as I've been sitting here and talking. Anyway, I thought, hey, it'd be cool to judge this beer based off of the BJCP guidelines. Now, BJCP is the beer judging certification program. That's what it stands for. And it is kind of the rules and category rules and guidelines for how certain styles are. And of course, nowadays, with all these adjuncts and people putting pizza and chicken and whatever in beer, you might as well throw the guidelines out the window. But it's always fun to kind of go back and check them out. So this is my Hefeweizen. The category is 10A, which is Weissbier. There's no like Hefeweizen category. It's Weissbier, German Weissbier. And as you can see, the color on it is a hazy, straw-like color, completely hazy. And of course, as far as the guidelines are concerned, there are 3 points available for appearance, and I would score to 3 because it is within the guidelines. And that's the only thing you would do. As soon as you pour yourself your sample, you want to take a look at the beer, and then you want to note the head color, you want to note the body, how it looks. And as far as the beer looks, I would score to 3. The next thing you want to do is you definitely want to take an initial aroma. And that's why I usually do a drive-by, because initially that drive-by will tell me immediately what I'm smelling. So on the drive-by, you get the phenols, you get clove, and you get banana. So immediately on the drive-by, that my senses are telling me that that's what I'm smelling. So again, same thing. This time I'm picking up a little bit more banana and some malt character, some breadiness. One of the things you could do to help with the aroma is to actually cup. Put your hand over the glass itself, give it a swirl. And that's what this is doing, is going to trap that aroma in that headspace. Once you swirl it, you can release the aroma and get a deeper nose. And that time it is very phenolic. It's very clove and banana forward. There's unmistakably a breadiness to it as well. So it's like almost a banana bread with clove that I get out of it. At this point, I wouldn't mark a score for that. I would just be writing down notes. Now, for aroma, there are 12 points available. For flavor, there are 20 points available. Obviously, you want it to taste good. For mouthfeel, there's 5 points available, and then your overall impression of the beer, where you want to be positive about it and maybe help the brewer out with maybe hints of what they may have done wrong or maybe trying something different. And that's worth 10 points. So 50 total points. Let's get a taste on it. Cheers. So the first thing I would write down again is mouthfeel. At this point, I wouldn't even write down anything for flavor. Obviously, the flavor's there. You want to let it sit on your palate for a while, and you want your brain to start thinking about, what am I tasting? So mouthfeel-wise, it is a thin to medium body. It is very fluffy on the mouthfeel, very nice carbonation on the mouthfeel. as far as the carbonation is concerned and as far as the body is concerned. Again, worth 5 points. Now, it could be a little bit thicker. It's a little bit on the thin side for me. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Now, mouthfeel and appearance are going to be, usually should be an easy 8 points to get. And appearance, the things that are going to knock you, if it's just doesn't look like the beer you're supposed to be drinking. So if this was black and I entered it in the Weiss beer category, I would get a 0. Immediately get a 0 on it. So you got to make sure when you brew a beer that you enter it in the right category, because you judge a beer based on the category you're judging. It could be the best tasting beer in the world, but if it does not fit that category, you're going to score poorly. And it's unfortunate because it could be a great tasting beer. So at this point, again, I'd get another taste. Notes on the taste. It is banana and clove forward. Again, that's what you want out of a Weiss beer, Hefeweizen. Now, the phenolic character is still a little bit amped up in this, and a lot of that has to do with it's just barely been kegged for a few days. Obviously, you want to let it sit in the keg for a couple weeks, probably before you actually serve it, to let some of those big phenols kind of die down a little bit. But even now, it actually drinks really nice. There's a big crisp kind of a feel to it. It's real crispy. It's real refreshing. So those are all really good points. Now, the bad points, it does leave a little bit of a lingering aftertaste. Again, phenolic. Phenolic could also be perceived as being Band-Aid-like or rubber-like. It is high in phenols. So as far as the flavor is concerned, it's close, and it's really close. Probably after a few weeks, it's going to score a lot higher. I'd give it a 12 out of 20, score-wise. So if you're keeping track, appearance, give it a 3. Flavor, give it a 12. Mouthfeel, give it a 4. Now, as far as the aroma is concerned, you get 12 points for aroma. I'm going to score it 8 on the aroma. The aroma is a perfect balance between, well, not perfect balance, but a great balance between banana and clove. It is really high in phenols, so 8 out of 12. I think that's a fair score for it. And then your score for overall impressions, as far as the beer is concerned, time. So I would maybe give the beer more time before you serve it to someone would be something I would write on the overall impressions. And one of the other things I would write too is, as far as the body is concerned, I would say check mash, check your mash process. And it's funny I say check your mash process, because during my mash there was some things that went wrong that I was trying a new step mash and ended up having to actually decoct some of the mash, which is basically taking a portion of the thicker portion of the mash, boiling it, adding it back to your mash to raise your mash temperature to whatever temperature you're trying to go after to extract those sugars. And so after all that mashing, it was a very long mash process, a long brew day. Go back and watch the brew day, by the way, if you can. And I think I extracted some of those characters from the malts that will probably fade, but are there right now. So as far as the aroma and stuff like that are concerned, I give it an 8. So overall, I scored this a 33 out of 50. Now, a 33 is very good within the guide, which means it's within the guidelines, the BJCP guidelines for 10A, but there are minor flaws. So I would score the beer a 33. I think that would be a fair score for it. Some judges, usually when I'm sitting with the panel and I have a BJCP judge, we will do our score ourselves, and then after we're done, we talk about it, and we have to be within about 4 or 5 points before we put a final score. And I've never had to change a score, maybe like 1 or 2 points here and there to get within, but usually with the BJCP judge, I'm usually right on. So it's very humbling to know that the way I taste beer is really close to that BJCP level. and it was a great experience doing it. So if you ever have a chance to do a tasting, really do it. I mean, it does give you a really strong appreciation for beer and the craft of making beer. So anyways, I hope you do enjoy this little part of like the BJCP judging, how it's scored, and the process I go through in tasting a beer and scoring a beer. It's not just, this smells good, this tastes good, yay, give it a high score. I really do appreciate the process, and I do try to be fair. So anyways, thanks for watching. Again, Brewery 602 Beer Reviews, at Brewery 602 on Instagram. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Cheers.